What's up guys, Mr. SLIN here with another episode of SlinTalk discussing competitive 6v6 TF2. Today's topic is the global weapon whitelist that just got unveiled. So if you're playing an ESEA, ETF2L, Oz Fortress, or UGC, and soon Asia Fortress, if you're playing in one of those leagues, congratulations, you're all playing on the same whitelist worldwide. This is a big step for the competitive scene because for the longest time, each league had its own individual whitelist specifically tailored to that region's tastes. For example, previously, ESEA had banned over 50 weapons from competitive play. European TF2 League, ETF2L, had banned over 30 weapons from competitive play. So you can see each region having its own weapon set made things confusing. So the idea here is for our scene to grow as a competitive scene, we needed to get together and get the same whitelist in every league. Now, full disclosure here, I did play a role in this, and that's why I'm getting flamed on the forums. That's why people are messaging me on Steam saying, F you, you suck, and you're the reason why the game is dying. I get that, right? But like, I'm on your side here. I'm trying to grow the game, and I really do believe this is the right way to do it. It's stupid for every league to have its own individual whitelist. We should all use the same whitelist. It's a very simple principle here. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with it. It's very simple. It's like everyone needs to be using the same whitelist. So how do we make that happen? Step one, get all the admins in the same room. Okay. Step two, get players from the top teams in each of those regions to also be in that room. Boom, done. We did it. So we literally had a meeting where like all these people are in the same room together. Now we couldn't include everybody because it's really difficult to get people from different time zones, like a ton of people, like 100 people, like 1,000 people, to all be in the same Mumble server at the same time discussing this. It's a lot of voices. So rather than getting like everybody involved, we just had like the essential people, the people that we thought could make the most change. That's the people that we included. So I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry. I want to apologize because I know that a lot of you guys out there feel like you weren't included in the discussion, and I am sorry because I do wish I could have included everyone in the discussion. It just didn't come out that way. It was just a simple idea here of like get people in the room, get something done here. And I feel like we did accomplish that. I feel like we've unified the whitelist, but some people are still not happy. They're not happy because we've unbanned too many items in their opinion. Remember, ESEA had over 50 items, ETF2L over 30 items. The weapon ban list is now 22 items. So there are some weapons in there that a lot of people are like, hey, this is stupid. Why are we playing with this? Remember why weapons are banned in the first place? These weapons are not fun to play with. They're not fun to play against. Why are they in the game now, right? You guys are idiots for unbanning them. First of all, I'm not an idiot. Thank you, man. Second of all, I really do think that a lot of the weapons are banned for like just because they're not fun, but they're not game breaking, right? And secondly, I'm definitely not a game designer. Like, I don't understand game design or game balance, and I'm not going to pretend like I understand how to balance a game. I'm going to leave the game balance and game design in the hands of professionals. People who work at Valve are probably way better at this than I am. So I would prefer if the developers were the ones to balance the game and not me. So when I got into that room, the first thing I said was like, look, let's unban everything, right? And I know a lot of people on the forums are saying the same thing. Why didn't we just unban everything? Well, there was a lot of pushback. That's the honest truth. A lot of the competitive players were pushing back and saying, we don't want to unban all this stuff. They're banned for a reason. It's all broken. And I agree. As a competitive player myself, I agree that a lot of the weapons that are in the game right now are broken. But we're kind of in an interesting situation. It's a catch-22 where if we don't play with those weapons, the developers won't know that they're broken. And if they don't know that they're broken, they're not going to fix them. And then we're stuck in the same spot, right? So we have to like figure out who's going to take the first step. Is it the developers? Are the developers supposed to take the first step and balance the game and then we can use those weapons? Or are we supposed to just use those weapons and then let the developers balance it later on? Well, if you look at what every other esports scene does, no one is banning weapons. Like TF2 is one of the only communities that I know that does this, that like bans weapons and resists the game that the developer is making. Everybody else just plays with the weapons if they're broken and then just complains about it on the forums until they get fixed. So what we really need to do is reassure the competitive community that, hey, the developers are listening, right? We need you guys to all be convinced that the developers actually listen to the competitive community at all. Why should they listen to us? Actually, is a real question. It's an honest question, because the casual player base is their bread and butter. That's like their entire community. They need to cater to that 12v12 audience. Why would they cater to the 6v6 audience? Well, there's market pressures now. That's the first thing I would say, that TF2 is actually, for the competitive scene, is actually on a bit of a downturn, actually. Our scene is really taking a hit from Overwatch. A lot of our top talents leaving the game, and we are seeing less unique players, less new players, and less games being played on a daily basis. As a fact, there's less, like the game's actually going downhill right now. So we need to make a change here. And the developers need to, we'll see that as well. And the developers have also, like, they're never going to put in writing, hey, like, screw the casual players, we hate them. But they will start to silently make, or loudly, make changes for the Sixes community. They made matchmaking. They've been making balance changes over the last 2 patches, very positive balance changes that have been positive for the Sixes community. And I think they're going to continue to silently support the competitive community. They're never going to say, hey, look, screw all the casual players, but they will silently support the competitive community. And I think what we need to do, it's our job as the competitive community to just vocally put out there as much as we can to be like, hey, look, the atomizer is completely broken. We hate this item, and just keep doing that. Encourage items that you like, discourage items that you don't like, and be public and vocal about it. The more you do that, the more people understand and know your frustrations, right? But for so long, we've been quiet. We've just been silently banning weapons. And a lot of our weapon bans were unjustified. And a lot of you guys, I know, can attest to that. A lot of the weapon bans were unjustified. Some of them were justified. That's why we have these bans. That's why we have this compromise, right? Is to say, look, we're not going to ban everything. We're going to start to unban some stuff. And we're going to hopefully get to a point where the competitive game and what the developers are making are one and the same. That's what we want. We don't want people playing different rules all around the world. We want everyone playing the same rules all around the world. We don't want the competitive community playing a different game than the casual community. We want everyone playing the same game. We would love it if the casual community would start to play the Sixes matchmaking system. We would love it if the pro players also started playing the Sixes matchmaking system. That's what we want. We want everyone playing that system. But, it's hard to get to that point. I realize there's a lot of frustration there. There's a lot of pushback. There's going to be some growing pains. And I've had a lot of people message me and say that, scrims have kind of sucked the last couple, like this tonight. They were just not that much fun. There's a lot of like bad stuff in there. And I'm not going to promise you guys that this is going to be easy, but I do think this is going to be a positive thing for the game. We had an emergency meeting tonight with all the invite players, not all the invite players. I can't stop saying all, but like a ton of invite players were in a Mumble server tonight discussing what this means for TF2, and we actually tacked on 2 additional weapon bans, the atomizer and the base jumper. So I think we've gotten to a point where people are agreeing. ETF2L, OzFortress already bought into this, so we've now set a 22 weapon ban list, and I think we're headed in the right direction. As far as the future of the game goes, again, please continue to test the items, to give your feedback publicly, to just give your feedback in the most public place possible, get people to look at it and get their opinions, get some discourse, get some conversation about it. Because if there's one thing that's been really positive out of this change, is that everyone has been forced to play the new whitelist and talk about it. And I think that's the most powerful thing for the game. I think that is the best thing for the future of TF2. And I truly believe that we did a lot of good here tonight. So I'm really hoping that you guys buy into this as well. I know you guys will be frustrated. Post in the comments below. I'm happy to create a follow-up video. I'm happy to talk to you guys about this more. But just know that it wasn't just Mr. SLIN trying to kill the game. Please don't blame me. It was a joint decision with a lot of people involved. I can't take credit for all this. I really do appreciate all the people behind the scenes that got this off the ground. And again, I don't want to put them on blast right now, because I got flamed a lot today, and I know a lot of other people are going to get flamed too. So I'd rather just keep those names private. If they wanted to step forward and reveal themselves, they're more than welcome to. But yeah, I think it's best to just focus on the topic, focus on the subject at hand, which is how do we grow TF2, and not about who is killing TF2. So thanks for watching the video. Catch you next time.